How's it going, guys? This is Iron Fist LMS, once again coming to you for the LMS live stream over at Twitch TV. Now, what I've got for you guys today is something a little bit different from what you'd normally expect on my channel. I have a complete Anti-Infantry Lightning guide for you guys, featuring all my recommended upgrades and certifications that you can get for it, as well as various different advice on the various scopes and stuff that you can get for the default cannon and how to maximize your efficiency. Now, also at the end, I go through some basic tactics that you can use, some basic, game plans that you could use in the Lightning in order to make yourself more efficient and also last longer out on the battlefield. Because by default, the Lightning has a fairly long cooldown, and you want to maximize the amount of time that you are alive in it. Now, recently I've been having a lot of fun in my Lightning. I don't know whether it's because I played a lot of air and I'm starting to get maybe a little bit bored of it or a little bit tired of it. Or whether it's just the fact that Lightning, since the last game update where tanks got a armor buff, whether Lightnings now are more effective than they used to be. Now, as you can see here from this clip, one of my favorite tactics in the game is actually just to hop in and out of the base shields at big bases like the tech plants. And as you're seeing here, it's an extremely effective tactic of racking up a lot of kills and XP very quickly. Now, first I'm going to go through all the upgrades and certifications I think you should get on your Lightning, and at the end we'll discuss in detail some tactics that you can use while in it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first certification slot I'm going to talk about is the utility slot, and for me here there was only one real clear choice, which was the IR smoke, or the equivalent of flares for your Lightning. Now, what the IR smoke does is it removes any lock-ons from your Lightning for a set period of time. I think it's around 1 second, and enemies can't lock onto you after that for a little bit of a delay. Now, this is great when you're going up against groups of heavies with lock-on launchers such as the strikers, and it allows you either to get away from them or gives you a little time window where you can take them out before you start taking damage. Now, for the next slot, the defense slot, I was actually in two minds about this. I started off using the reinforced side armor because I was kind of using cover and popping in and out, and I thought the side armor would help me. But since a friend recommended the nanite auto repair system to me, I've seen the light and I definitely wouldn't go back. The nanite auto repair on the Lightning is absolutely amazing. It's crazy good. Now, the first couple of levels I think are 50 and 100 certs, so they are fairly cheap. Although it doesn't actually cost that much to max it out. The last level is only 500 certs, which is actually not too expensive, and it allows you to repair around 11% of your armor every 5 seconds. Now, bear in mind though, it doesn't start repairing until you've not taken damage for 8 seconds, so if you take damage, just pop behind cover and you can start repairing yourself. Now, the performance slot on the Lightning is really debatable, and I think it comes down more to personal choice than anything else. I prefer using the rival combat system, which improves your turn speed, your reversing speed, as well as your brakes. This allows you to quickly maneuver around obstacles, it allows you to reverse out of bad situations very quickly, and if you end up getting yourself stuck in a dead end, like I do a lot because I'm a bad driver, it allows you to quickly turn around or just reverse out of that situation. Whereas if you had the other frame equipped, you wouldn't have that turn speed to do so. Now, the other frame is the racer frame, which basically improves your top speed and acceleration, which I could see why some people would like it, but personally it's not for me. I prefer the turn speed and the maneuverability that gives me. Now, I haven't discussed the cannon yet for the Lightning. My personal preference here, since SOE did their balance pass on HE cannons and made them pretty much next to useless, I've actually gone back to using the stock default gun. I think it's the C75 Viper. Now, this thing is absolutely amazing at farming groups of infantry and taking out, squads that are trying to move across open ground or try and assault your base, especially with maxes and stuff. You get 6 shots of automatic cannon fire, and the reload speed is actually almost the same as the HE cannon. It's around 3.5 seconds, so you get 6 shots, for the price of 1. Now, the shot from the C75 Viper, it can kill an infantry in 1 direct hit, depending if they're using flak armor or not. But normally I find it's normally around a 2 to 3 hit kill on infantry, which when you get 6 shots in a magazine, makes it pretty damn powerful against groups. Now obviously I've spent a few cert points to, you know, give myself some more ammo, the maximum ammo capacity. I've equipped the night vision scope to help me see through smoke at ground level, and I've also started investing in the reload speed. Although the reload speed is extremely expensive for what you get. You have to spend 1,000 certs in the end just to reduce your reload speed by 10%, which in the end is less than half a second. So only start purchasing that once you've got the cert points to spend. Now the gameplay clip that I've recorded here is from the Araxis Firearms Corp on Amerish, which is actually one of my favorite bases in the game to fight at right now, and it's a shame we don't fight on Amerish more. This base is really well designed because the base is sort of sat on a plateau, so it's quite hard, or there's only one entrance route for vehicles to get on, which is the bridge here. Now as you can see, it's pretty much a death zone normally for vehicles unless you're in something small like a harasser or a lightning, and it tends to be more focused on infantry zegging across the bridge in order to secure it so that vehicles and sunders can get across. Now what I do here on this bridge is just use the natural support struts and the various, you know, cover that SOE have designed onto the bridges, which is a great step up from what they had in Planetside 1, where basically vehicles were dead as soon as they got on the bridge. Now you can use these sort of natural struts and other things like that on the bridge to break lock-ons, as well as stop enemy infantry from firing dumbfire rockets at you, because if you're hiding behind them, obviously they can't hit you. And the Lightning with the rival combat frame on it is actually really good at that. You can sort of maneuver into these tight little spaces, and if you've been hit by enemy fire, you can just go behind those sort of structures and start to heal yourself up with the nanite auto repair, which, you know, you can start to see here why I use it. You literally just duck behind there for a few seconds and you're already repairing yourself up without having to get out of the tank and make yourself vulnerable. Now, I actually saw that AT mine on the ground a little bit too late. Obviously, it's a little bit confusing because in the night vision, it's very hard to see whether it's a friendly AT mine or whether it's an enemy one, since there's no sort of display or indication. So, if SOE wanted a bit of advice on the mines, I suggest that you give friendly mines a little bit more of an indication so that you can see whether they're a threat to you or not. And it'll also stop you blowing up friendly engineers' mines. You can also see here why I prefer to use a night vision scope, or perhaps a thermal scope if you prefer it. It makes target acquisition and selection a whole bunch easier, especially when it's night time, the game is dark, or there's a lot of smoke or explosions going on, which would obviously cover enemy infantry and you wouldn't be able to see them properly. With the night vision on, you can see everything with perfect clarity. You know where your shots are going to land, and it makes it a whole bunch easier to get those, you know, those really good hits in the middle of enemy infantry groups. Now, obviously, they've got a Sunderer just parked around the corner here. I don't want to expose myself too much. I don't want to go Rambo, because while I might get a few kills, they're obviously going to blow me up really quickly with C4 or dumbfire rockets. So what I prefer to do here in this kind of situation is use the natural cover of the bridge and the rocks and just sort of duck in and out and fire my 6 shots off and go and hide behind the cover while I'm reloading. There's no point exposing yourself while you're reloading because you can't do any damage and you're just a sitting duck. So always try and duck back behind the cover on the terrain while you're reloading the gun. I also see a heavy up here that's trying to lock me. He ducks behind the rock, so I can't really get him properly. And suddenly all these infantry appear. Now, this is where the C-75 Viper really comes into its own. When there's tons and tons of infantry around, all the shots splash off each other. So you end up getting multi-kills all over the place, and you see the XP racking in. Now, for some reason, all the NC that were fighting at this base seem to have left. It's only me and a couple of guys left on the bridge. So I just back it up as to not let myself die to perhaps a light assault going over the bridge and C4ing me from behind. Now, even on those long-range shots, the Viper is actually surprisingly easy to aim. It seems to have a fairly small cone of fire, and I find it quite easy hitting long-range targets. Now here I'm doing exactly the same thing again, where I know that I'm outnumbered. I'm obviously switching in and out of third person and first person while I'm reloading to make sure there's nobody laying tank mines behind me or a light assault is trying to get behind me to put C4 on me. Always try and be situationally aware of what's going on around you. a great time to, you know, hit third person, have a quick look around you is while you're reloading, because you're not doing anything else at that particular point in time. So always flick in and out of first and third person just to make sure that nobody's trying to get behind you. Now, this Sundra actually blocks the shot that I wanted to take on those infantry, so I just wait for him to get out the way, and I think that was at least 1 or 2 kills that I managed to get there on the group of infantry. I come back out and finish the ones that were obviously low health off. Now here I've actually finished all my ammo, and I took the decision to just try and run quickly back to the base. I probably should have reversed out here in this situation, not to expose the rear of the tank, but I don't know whether the reverse speed would have been fast enough to get me off the bridge in time before I died. Now obviously that was a fairly close call, and I just hop out to repair myself. Obviously when you're sitting there repairing yourself, the nanite also kicks in, so you repair that a little bit faster. Now obviously I can see here that I'm severely outnumbered and all the other NC left, so my main goal here was to try and get as many kills as possible before dying in my lightning, and rack as much XP in as possible as well. Now again here I have some nice natural cover from the tree and the building behind me. I also know that there's NC ground troops behind me as well, which should, well, they should hopefully stop any light assaults getting up behind me with C4. So I kind of, you know, can let my guard down a little bit and concentrate on getting those important shots in. Now even right on the edge of the render range of night vision, the lightning with the Viper is actually surprisingly accurate. As you can see here, you can land multiple shots on the same guy even at fairly long range, or when they're just poking their head out from behind cover. Now I go back on to try and go a bit Rambo here, and I actually end up getting myself stuck on some terrain. I couldn't reverse or go backwards or forwards. So I was completely stuck here, and I think a heavy manages to drop a C4 on me finally, ending my kill streak. But as you can see, that was a quick 30 kills in probably about 5 minutes, so you can see where this goes in terms of XP per hour and kills per hour. So that wraps me up for today, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you do have any sort of comments, feedback, or suggestions on this video, please do let me know in the comments below, as I love reading them and they help me improve my content in the future. Till next time, guys, take it easy and have a good one.